Yorkshire, and we found sheep in Arable. Before we introduce Olly and Tom, who I suspect need no introduction, I would just like to say a big thank you to Pemberton Tyres for hosting us here on their stand. Olly unfortunately wasn't able to make it on our trip of a lifetime, but Tom and I went to the World Cup, Rugby World Cup with Pemberton Tyres, which was unbelievable. There are videos of Tom dancing on tables in bars in Paris. They do exist. One formality, and I hate to be annoying, but please don't climb on the tyres. If somebody falls off, you know, we don't want to deal with the forms and all of that stuff. So please don't climb on the tyres. There will hopefully be time for some questions at the end, and I'm hopefully going to come out and hand you the microphone. You can introduce yourself, and we'll direct those to Tom and Olly. The other point is, if you want to speak to Tom at the end, get yourself queued up here and be able to, I don't know, what you... Pictures? What do you want?
Anything they want. It's really nice. Anything to a degree that my wife would allow. It's amazing, obviously, so many people turned up to say hello to us three. Rebecca, you are an amazing person on Instagram, just fantastic. And a big thanks to Pemberton, like I said. The trip of my lifetime, unfortunately, Olly, you were sadly missed. I was thinking about you at 2 o'clock in the morning. I wasn't. But yeah, it was fantastic. It was great, and I'm looking forward to it.
Absolutely. Oh, what's that name?
I don't know. We were back. Unfortunately, at the end, I've got to be on the FCN stand, which is just behind UTV lights at 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. So I won't be going that way, but I'll be there for a good half an hour anyway if anyone wants to find me.
So, as I said, I'm sure most of you watched Olly and Tom, or one or the other on YouTube. If you don't watch them, quick introduction. Now, I asked the boys to send across a sentence to explain themselves. Olly, straight to the point. Arable farmer from a very wet northwest. Fine, does the job. Tom, one of a kind, and I'm reading word for word here. One of a kind, legend before his time, hero to many, superstar farmer, and this bit was in capitals, so I don't know if I need to make some like movie voice. Thomas Charles John Pemberton, everybody, okay? He's also a dairy farmer from Lancashire, but you know. So,
it's because obviously Rebecca's normally the serious one. I'm Olly, probably more me. I'm more a bit of an idiot. And I thought it'd be really funny if she read that out.
I do it justice then. No, maybe I should have got up and done it as though I was on a movie set.
If we could get on a tyre, that was what I wanted.
Well, let's get into a few questions, a bit of chat. The first thing I want to say, and anybody who does watch their videos, congratulations, both of you, both of your families. New dads. How on earth is that? Yeah, let's give a round of applause.
Well, before the speech, you'll know why now.
I was going to make some joke about, oh yeah, you look quite tired, both of you, but I thought that might not be ideal, but are you tired? What is it like?
I think the mums have got it worse, to be honest.
I thought you said that. But juggling farm life, you know, you have had a day at work, and then you're not in at normal hours. How on earth do you juggle that with a baby? Tom, let's start with you, you know, first baby.
Yeah, so everyone tells you it's going to be hard, and not to put anyone off, obviously. But yeah, it's really difficult. I love farming, it's the best job ever, I can't chat about it, whatever, it's unreal. And so I'm there for 12, 13 hours a day, and then I come home twice a week, 3 times a week, I'll edit, and then I don't really sleepy, so I'll fall asleep, I'll edit at 3 o'clock in the morning. And now the problem is I have a baby that tries 3 o'clock in the morning, so I've got son's baby out, mix it all together, and then Joe obviously has had a C-section, that comes with its own complications, so a lot of people know. So it's been, for me, it's been unreal. It's been fantastic. So in the mornings it's the best. It's just like chilled, loving life, play with it. At night, when 90% of the time I come home at like 6:30, she's done. Which is fair. So I need some help. It's hard. It's difficult, but it is amazing. And like it's really starting to come out into his own. He's only 8 weeks old. But yeah, he is class and he's got a lot better. It's amazing how much to grow. Yeah. We know that rearing calves, rearing animals, and that sounds
how does Joe feel you comparing your baby to a calf?
Yeah, so I've got a few things wrong actually. Temperature of a cow is anywhere from, let me go into this, is anywhere from 37.8 to like 39, we don't really worry about it. Joe had 38.1, and I was like, you're fine, don't worry about it. went to the doctor and she was like, you have a high temperature, you need to get to the hospital now. Got quite serious, quite fast. And then now, any of my points or any of my references to animals are invalid.
I do think it is difficult when your only sphere of reference over babies is animals, and it is livestock, isn't it? And actually they look a bit different than I would like to.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. And obviously, if it can't feed him, you come back to it, like, not feed him, come back to it in about 2-3 hours or something like. You can't do that with babies. You have to make sure it's not crying. So yeah, it's hard work and it's just shout at you, but it's class at the same time, and I'm so looking forward to you coming on farm with me, if you want to be a farmer. Because, yeah.
So we have just touched on YouTube there and editing, and that's difficult at the best of times, but with a baby it's an added element. But I think most of you will be here because of YouTube. And we thought, thanks to these guys down here, it might be quite fun just to do a little bit of a competition at the start to see which channels you're subscribing to. So, are we allowed to do a cheer as to who's loudest? Is that allowed? Right. So. Yeah, guys, fantastic.
That's what we need.
And actually, my next question, not being too formal, how did and why did the channels start? And I guess, were you setting out to help people learn? Was it to, I mean, we can't be shy about the fact that you earn an income from the YouTube channels. Ollie, what was the reason for you?
It was the beginning of COVID, and I did some work for the BBC about the wet winter and how it'd come dry in the spring. And that day, the video that they did was quite educational because it was talking about putting wheat in the ground. So I put it out to share it as an educational piece and to show what was going on a farm. And then the next day, I did it as a joke, and then they did it again as a joke, and it just carried on. So I wanted people to learn what happens on a farm, but it was very much a joke is why it happened, really.
I didn't even know you could earn money out of YouTube for a year.
And on that though, I think, people in farming have decided, I want to help people learn about the industry, and suddenly they do get a following. It's quite a minefield for farmers in that, am I going to say public-facing area, that area where lots of people can see what you're doing. It can be quite tricky to judge, I guess, particularly with you and livestock, Tom. What do you show?
Yeah, 100%. You try and show as much as you can. I think it's important to do it, like the good and the bad. We've had some fantastic things happen, filmed it great, woohoo, yay! And we've had some awful things happen, like last year we got TB, and that was horrendous. I've had cows break the legs, and it happens. And unfortunately, I've got to show it all. You can't just show the cows calving and everything being sunshine and rainbows and the grass, it's amazing, And I think that was really, really important. And how I got into it probably a bit differently. I've got a farm shop. I've got the milkshake vending machines, and so we put those on. And what I was trying to do, if I'm honest, is advertise to live in St Anne's and Blackpool, and that's where I am. And I just always watched YouTube as a little lad. And then I put it on Facebook, put it on YouTube. YouTube didn't do very well. And then at that time, it was 2016 when I first started, nearly doing it 8 years, May. And there was a lot of the stuff about vegans and stuff and what farmers were doing, and then no one was really filming it, because you know what we do, we just crack on because everyone's got to eat. Do you know what I mean? Everyone's got to eat, so there's always going to be a market there. But then there was false advertising or false kind of footage of what was going on the farm. So I just thought, right, next video, this is how we rear calves, and this is why we take the calves off the mums, this is what happens to them, And I think that's really, really important, because the first bit sounds horrendous, but then when you see it and you kind of explain it, I think then they get to understand. And the world isn't this fantastic rainbows of sunshine, what I chat about. It's not. Things do go wrong. Things have got to happen to put food on your plate. And I think that was what I grew into. But to start with, I was just advertising what we did on our farm to push sales for the farm shop and stuff.
Yeah. And Ollie, anyone you look up to on YouTube, you're making videos, you just think, oh gosh, editing today is going to be a real drag. Anyone you look up to and think, I'm going to grow my channel, I'm going to do a good job, I'm going to keep going at this. Apart from Tom, obviously.
Well, Tom's obviously helped me when I didn't know what I was doing at the beginning, but I'll be honest, I don't really watch YouTube. I can go months without turning the TV on. I don't have the time. People think because they see it on YouTube, it means you watch YouTube. I literally don't. And I read messages on Instagram and I put pictures on it, but I don't really see what's going on Instagram.
Yeah.
And that's the weird thing. You were in this social media bubble, but you're looking out, not in it. So, yeah, it's, for me, the biggest
amount of time I spend is editing a video, but if that takes me more than 15 minutes, I'm getting annoyed, I'm bored, I want to be doing something else.
Yeah.
And that's why I do a video every day, because it means I only have to edit every day a small bit. If I had to, I did the combine run and I tried to edit like the highlights of that. It took me like 3 hours. And
You now know my pain.
Yeah, well, just do it every day, it's easier. It's all in order then.
And okay, so we mentioned it at the start, Ollie, introducing you from a very wet northwest. Looking around this room, I know we've got loads of farmers here. The weather has been unprecedented. It has caused massive challenges on your guys' farms, but on I would suggest lots of people's farms here. What are the challenges it's bringing you on farm, and are you making noticeable decision-making changes because of the weather?
Oh yeah, I mean, we just have to get wider tyres for everything. No, to be honest, we always have it wet in the northwest. Yes, this year, so 2023, my dad, I don't know what he was about, but he was saying that we had 13 inches of rain in the first 6 months, but 30 inches in the last 6 months. So on record, it wasn't actually a wet year for us, but from June, it did rain pretty much every day. I wish it had rained in June because I would have had a better wheat yield, but you know, we're trying to do new things. You know, I'm trying to grow 2 crops a year, which helps with the wet summers. You know, you can put a crop in and you can get the moisture to get it out of the ground, but is it climate change or just weather? I don't really know. I mean, climate is changing. Can we stop it? I don't think so. Probably controversial, but that's my opinion.
I agree with you there about the weather and how many inches of rain you get. It normally stays about the same. It doesn't fluctuate crazy. It's just when you get it and where you get it. And it's how, we've chatted about this a while, and a lot of people will know, it's how you control the water. Do you know that? My dad used to tank every week, slurry-wise. We didn't used to have storage. You know, back when he was getting grants and he was putting money into slurry equipment, it was all about spreading it and it wasn't about storing it. So it's just interesting the way we've changed, it's the way we've developed. And I know we keep blaming other people, but it is, we can see it, we've seen it, stuff not getting done, cuts getting made, and it's not the farmer, it's out of our hands. Obviously, we've got to do the best we can.
So you mentioned that, and I did actually write that down. I don't know if it's a bit dramatic to use the phrase "a farmer's sacrificial lambs," but that's kind of how it feels when it comes to land being flooded, which is used for food production. And I appreciate that there are settlements, there's houses, etc. to save, and nobody deserves to be flooded. But why do farmers have to keep taking this flack every single time?
Well, there's 2 kinds of flooding. There's flooding that could be prevented, which is a lot of it if we started dredging again. And if anyone from the environment is listening, it doesn't move the problem downstream because you start downstream. So we'll just get that out there. But there's flooding that can be prevented by dredging, and then there's flooding that sometimes you can't because the sheer volume is there. Now, it obviously does make sense to store it on farmland rather than in someone's front living room and wrecking the telly and the carpet. But that's costing us money, and it's saving someone else money, whether that be insurance, coming to a council if I'm agency. So they don't call it sacrificial lamb, they call it public money for public good, and that just needs to be recognised. And to be perfectly honest, it is starting to be in the new round of SFI payments that have come out.
Okay, so we've got bad weather. Farmers aren't necessarily at the top of the priorities for decision making, maybe. Are we going to keep producing food? Are we going to keep putting that land into wheat every year? Should we be making our sheds industrial units? Are we just going to put solar panels on the fields? What does it look like?
What does it look like? Well, I personally think...
Sorry, that's quite a big, hard question.
It's a huge question, that.
Yeah, sorry.
Well, I personally think it's right before COVID happened, we didn't need to produce our own food. And I think it was Boris Johnson at the time said, we can just import it. And then COVID happened, and everyone was like, oh, okay, farmers are important now, and they remember it. Unfortunately, probably need to go hungry in this country. You know what I mean? We're not hungry as they would be, as other countries are. And that's the really unfortunate thing. And then everyone's going to go, we might have made a mistake there. And I think that's what it's going to be. We struggle to feed the world as it is. And obviously, us being in the UK, we're not massive. But we can grow some good grass, and we can grow good crops. But if we keep putting it into like trees or these kind of set aside fields, it's going to be a disaster. Maybe not in our lifetime, but maybe in our kids' lifetime.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's actually, like, we're talking about the rain being a bad thing, but we are incredibly lucky that it does rain, because a drought is worse than anything, and that's what's cost me money over the years. But some countries, they don't get rain. Australia, there's bits of it where they're actually going to stop farming now because they're not getting the rain. And it's criminal, really, to not use our land, our productive climate, to its full potential, because anything we don't grow here, we've got to import from somewhere else where water's more scarce, and that's just morally not right, really.
Definitely. So we mentioned a few issues on farms. It does seem quite negative at the moment. One question I want to ask you, Olly, and it's come across a question through my Instagram. Somebody asked about the situation with loans and interest, and it's something that you talk a lot about, and I think importantly. But the question from somebody over on Instagram was, how are your bank managers treating you, and how do you feel about this relationship? Because it's absolutely vital, and I'll touch on, obviously, the fact we're at LAMMA. This is the home of investment, isn't it? Where are you at with your bank manager?
I have a really good relationship with him. I must have been in my house for a week over the last month. No, sorry, last 4 months. I mean, I just invested in a new farm, so there's a bit of that. But also, when we were running the numbers from this harvest to get to next harvest, there was obviously a shortfall from the drought, from increased interest rates, and we just had the conversation. What do we need to do now? If you owe the bank 100 grand, it's your problem. If you owe them $1 million, it's theirs. And if you owe them a bit more, they work for you. And to be fair, they do. I'm running a business, they're running a business. They make money out of me. I make money by borrowing money off them. And we just work together, and everything's open. This is where we are. This is what's done good. This isn't what's come bad. The nice thing for me is we have diversification, so the weather doesn't come into it. There's cash flow without rain or drought. And also, because we don't have animals, it's a little bit easier to predict that, because you've got people that are struggling to borrow money now because they can't get insurance for avian flu. The pig industry went through hard times. We don't need to mention dairy. Tom can talk about that. But no, a good bank and a good relationship with a bank. I mean, it's called, it was called Yorkshire, but now it's called Virgin Money. And honestly, I can't speak highly enough of them because they've been brilliant.
So I can add to that, because us as a farming business at home, we had a terrible relationship with the bank. And then I might have helped Ollie with his YouTube, but Ollie's helped us massively. And you said that to me about the 100,000 and the million. But the other thing as well is it's not the bank, you're just banking with the wrong bank. And we went to Virgin Money, funny enough, and honestly, they're fantastic. And if you've got a problem, you can just chat to them. Unfortunately, we've been with them for about 2 years now, and they've been really, really good. We used to be with the bank manager. It used to be horrific. Mum used to hate it. They didn't understand farming. They didn't understand how it works, and our kind of business, how we kind of just write stuff off and how it works, And then we go with Virgin, and it's easy. I now ring someone, and they answer the phone, or they ring me that day. And it's unreal, and I can't tell you how good it is. So we changed banks, and I'll tell you who it is. I couldn't care less. It's HSBC. We used to be with. They were awful, and I'm so sorry.
There's nobody from HSBC here.
You can chat to me if you want. But so we changed banks, and they rung me 2 weeks after, going, "Oh yeah, we'll organise that meeting that you wanted." 2 weeks after we changed banks, it took them about a month, 6 weeks. It was just horrendous. So we've changed now, and I think that's important.
Yeah.
If anyone else is struggling, have a word with Ollie or myself and get to a different bank, and it will help you out so much.
Other banks are available, and I noticed Oxbury have sponsored something down there, so we will just mention them because they did finance me Jerry on.
I'm sorry about that, but we've had pain for it. We've gone through. My mum and dad have gone through a lot more than what I have. I'm only 31. And they've gone through a lot more. So technically, what I've done to be able to push through social media and develop and stuff, everything we've gone through, we've invested in. And I know they've been through a bit of pain with it. And it's annoying. It's annoying, and it's amazing. It's like a breath of fresh air. You change, and you're like, oh, this is how it works.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
Yeah. Sorry, rant over everybody.
How's your blood pressure there?
Let's actually talk a bit about LAMMA, and if you've had a chance to walk around,
You're joking, I've only gone from there to there.
My next question is, what have you seen that looks exciting? What do you think in 5 years, 10 years, 50 years we're all going to be on board with? What's exciting that you've seen?
I'll be honest, there's not anything that I got. Other than them tyres over there to go on low loaders. I've not seen anything I've not seen before, but that might be because it was at Agritechnica.
So
Sorry.
So there was like a launch of a tractor. But while you were playing rugby balls, I saved me time to go there. No, a lot of this stuff was sort of debuted in November, wasn't it? But yeah, I mean, there's a pretty cool gold tractor there, but I've not seen that before. But no, I don't know. I need to probably have a proper mooch around.
What do you think we might be using on our farms then? If it was at Agritechnica, then what things are exciting that you saw there? We need something to be excited about. Come on, we just had a bit of a...
I have something very exciting that's coming out very, very soon.
Go on.
So in slurry, they're now taking the phosphorus out and the nitrogen out and then having dirty water as an excess. There's now separation that they're developing so they can take all the features out that the environment you don't like, which is class. We've got to work with them. And then you've got pure nitrogen to a degree, pure phosphorus, because it all helps grow grass. And I think that is exciting, the development. It's not there yet, but something as a dairy farmer as well, with lots of slurry. Yeah. It sounds amazing.
Whereas I've just seen a nice big quad track round the corner. I think it looks well cool. All that green Valtra over there.
Okay, right, we've got a bit of positivity from Ollie now. I was going to not direct this next question to you. But are you confident in the industry? We've got technology at our fingertips, innovation. We've got companies who, from the looks of it, are actually working for us and to help us. Are you excited or confident?
If you'd have asked me that 3 months ago, I would have said no. And I think we've always been a bit like, RPA, single farm payments, DEFRA, they don't know what's going on. But if you actually look at the details around their SFI scheme that they've got now, that has been a saviour to me this year, because we've been able to adapt some of what we're doing in a way that's better for everyone, and we're going to be rewarded for it, which is basically like a backstop on the farm. It's locking in a little bit of profit per acre before we've even started, which is something we've never really been able to do for a long time.
Yeah, I think it's going to be an option for a lot of farms. Even if you would be considered quite high performing, there's still going to be years where, as you say, you do need that security, I guess.
I mean, if we lived, in a bit better climate, we wouldn't be so bothered. But in the northwest, we do have a struggle. I'm in the northwest where you get a lot of rain and you could probably grow quite a lot of veg, but I haven't got the soil type for that. So I'm in that tricky bit where you're trying to grow cereals, but if you get that dry weather, you're knackered. And if you get the rain at the wrong time, it's knocked it down as well. Yeah. So no, I don't know whether they're really desperate, but I'm really excited actually. We're going to try and grow 2 crops a year, one for them and one for me.
Well, it's worth a shot, isn't it? Let's change the subject a bit, Tom. Let's talk TV and the Fast and the Farmer-ish. This was actually prompted, thanks to people on Instagram who sent me questions, because it has, formed a bit of this and made life a bit easy. Somebody wants to know when you're going head-to-head in a Fast and Farmer-ish competition. When are we going to get you two together?
That would be great. So I actually put it to them, like the final episode, to get some like YouTubers, Instagrammers, and I thought it would be really, really cool, and we could go against each other, like maybe 6 of us and have a proper competition. If I beat Ollie, I don't think he'd let it down. Well, I wouldn't let it down to him, ever. I think it'd be fantastic. It would be great to watch. It'd be a good laugh. Like, we could set it up ourselves, but the camera power that they have. You obviously use a phone, I use a GoPro, and that's it. Yeah. But the camera power there is fantastic. If we could kind of chat to them and make it work, it would be great. Just have a laugh.
And actually, a programme like that, you'd hope, shows farming in a bit more of a fun and positive light. And actually, we do need consumers and the public to, however it is, get engaged with what we're doing on farming. And if we need a light-hearted programme like that, then so be it. But I guess moving on from that, what I wanted to touch on is Clarkson's Farm, which I'm sure is a word on people's lips all the time whilst we're on TV. How vital is it that we have somebody like that who has that, I guess, that reach into the mainstream to help get our messages out there?
Yeah, Clarkson's reached people that we never could. But the good thing about Clarkson is he calls a spade a spade. He isn't scared of being told off, basically. He will call it how it is, which is great. It's what we need, because he's got a big voice, he's got a big carbon, he's got a big following.
You call a spade though as well, Ollie, and talking about the reach of YouTube, the reach of TV, you're obviously still quite vocal on other social media platforms, even getting things trending on Twitter or whatever we're meant to call it now. It is important, isn't it, that we're not just farmers on our farms and not engaging. We do need to try and get out there.
Yeah, but what is sad, it's the bad news that gets the reach, and it's the bad news that trends. You could say, oh, I've just had this field of wheat and it's been absolutely perfect, or we've just done this and hasn't it grown really well? It might get like 70 likes. If you have a rant because someone's fly tipped in your gateway, it'll get like 7,000 likes and be shared millions of times, and people love a bit of negativity, which is it's sad really, but
that is us as a generation or a population. You know, if something good happens, it's like bad news travels fast. You know, that's just a generation. That's just what we are and how we are, and that's if it bleeds, it leads. It sounds shocking, but it's true. Like the news, my sister doesn't watch the news anymore. She can't be bothered. There's no point but they know that sells,
yes.
And they don't know that's what people want to watch.
Absolutely. And talking about people, we haven't touched much on the people in our industry. Are we looking after people? I'm sure most people here are working in agriculture. Are we looking after them well enough?
I think so. I think we're getting better. I'm thinking about health and safety side because at the Clarkson farm, a couple of health and safety.
Remember the tyres? Everybody nobody's climbing at the back, are they?
Yeah, you see. The Clarkson farm.
We've walled them off.
A couple of health and safety things happened, and they got a little bit called out for it. But it was great because it kind of showed it, and it kind of showed real farming. Sometimes I say real farming because there's another program that struggles to show that now. Do you know what I mean? I think you've got to. The Clarkson was great. I'm sorry for going back to it because it showed it. Looking after staff-wise, I think we are getting better.
Yeah.
We're great because we do the social media. We film ourselves, and the best thing about that is sometimes, and I've spotted a lot of people here who've just said hello. Is it like, say, a hill farmer or a farmer who's in his tractor cab all day, doesn't really have someone to chat to because it can be quite lonely, the job. And then if they watch our videos and something goes wrong and they kind of go, all right, well, they have a bad day as well. It's not just me, I'm not on my own. And I think what social media has done in the last probably 10 years has really opened that up, and that's been fantastic because these, like, just hill farmers or farmers on their own, they're not on their own, things go wrong. I think it's, you'll know when something goes wrong on YouTube, you're probably going to get more clicks on it.
Yeah, the video that with something going wrong is definitely better than one with something going right. But one thing that we're not good at is having the finances to pay staff better or have more staff than we need so people can have more days off.
Yeah.
And I don't know how we ever get around that at the moment.
But I think we talk about, we can't get the staff in. And you're right, we have to go back to the reason we can't get them in. And ultimately, we just need to be paid more for our stuff to be able to afford it. Ultimately, people are going to go for a better work-life balance with a better wage. It is as simple as that, and we can't blame them for it.
100%. I think you can deliver for Amazon for about 14 quid an hour. And that's a lot of money.
And you're in a warm van.
Yeah, and then when you finish, when you start, and you don't work weekends, you can choose to.
Yeah.
We employ 25 people, and that's when the minimum wage goes up. If we just got someone stacking the shelves or something, it's really hard for us as a small business, and it's so difficult because the farmer normally doesn't take a wage out of the farm. They normally pay the employees, and what they've got is an asset at the end, and that's the difficult.
And I think for me personally, one of the real things that I struggle with is that the perception is farmers love their job. They're outside, in the outdoors with their animals. Therefore, but they enjoy it, it's fine. We wouldn't expect other people to be paid in enjoyment. I think it makes the public just feel better about themselves.
Yeah, enjoying your job doesn't pay the electric bill, does it?
Absolutely.
That's the thing.
So, we're talking about money. This is a bit of an off-the-wall question. Imagine money doesn't exist and time means nothing. Tomorrow you're going back to the farm, or maybe the day after. What change are you making? What one change? Is it enterprise? Is it management? Infrastructure kit? What does it look like?
What if we had loads of money?
Loads of money and
just buy a
time.
helicopter so I could check the fields more efficiently.
You really want that helicopter, don't you?
Yeah.
Have you done a helicopter license, whatever you need?
No, but I've got to work out how I'm going to pay for it first. Just wait for interest rates to drop.
Tom?
I don't know. I really.
Are you happy with where the farm is?
Yeah, so I've been so fortunate talking on the money side, and I don't think I'm quiet about it. Like, I wouldn't be able to do the things I do on the farm without YouTube. It's fantastic. Like we've been doing it 7 years now, and before then, we couldn't invest on the farm. We didn't invest in the farm. We took a loan out to put the farm shop on, and that was the big push. And then, fortunately, been able to generate an income through YouTube, and then just put it back into the farm. So I'm so glad I had those few years, 10 years beforehand, and I really do appreciate the value of a pound. So I can now invest it in, and then I wouldn't have dreamt of where I am now. So it sounds daft, and what's been great about it. It's been really hard work, but it's been satisfying, and I'm very, very fortunate. And there's a lot of people putting more work than I am, and they don't get it because of just putting it into the farm and not diversificating. That's huge. If you're a small farm, I think that's the way we've got to go. Yeah. We've got to diversificate, like Olly has, like we do. And my granddad started that like in 1950 or something, and put that kind of energy into me. Yeah. And if money was an object, I probably would do the things I want to develop now, but I've got those in the plan, and it's great because I've worked hard at it, and I really do appreciate it.
Yeah. Just a pre-warning, if people can start thinking of some questions, because we'll wrap this bit up shortly, and it would be great to hear from the audience. We've all travelled
I've got one for Tom.
Oh, go on.
Would you buy a new telehandler if you had unlimited money?
Yeah, 100%. 100%, like the wheels coming off. But it still picks things up and down. And a lot of people mention that the telehandler it's tired, but I'm used to loader tractors. And when the loader tractor that we traded in, or didn't trade, swapped it for the telehandler, before then it didn't have a cab. When I first started loading grass up for cows when I was 15, with the old Keenan at the old farm, we used to grab, and it used to have a shear grab on it. It was an old Nash tractor. If it rained, Dad said just put a coat on, and then you couldn't grab fully because it would just break the bolts on it, the whatever they're called, kind of double-edged swords, because I'm flat out, this is where we're going. At the same time, I don't really think of anything else, and probably suffered when I now wife, so I've been here with her for 11 years. That probably suffered a little bit at the start because I was like, I don't care, this is what I'm doing, I'm cracking on. So probably a little bit of that, but again, I wouldn't be where I am. Yeah. Like I said, I'm really enjoying where I am now. The past 8 weeks have been hard, but yeah, I'm really happy.
Perfect. Well, I think, does anybody have any questions? Oh, perfect. Oh, I don't want to go to the speaker either, I'm afraid, because I think we'll have a technology
issue. Have we got a roving
issue.
mic now?
It's me.
Oh, right.
Sorry, yeah.
Can we have a question at the back of the room? Let's see if we can wear her out like a spaniel throwing a ball.
So, do you want to tell us where you're from and who do you subscribe to first?
Me. So my name's Amy Brown. I live in Champion, Devon, and so my dad works at Bacon's, and I was just saying, to Olly, what's your favourite sprayer?
Did everybody hear that? What's Ollie's favourite sprayer? And your dad works for Bateman.
He's a plant. It's obviously going to be a British-made Bateman Engineering, mainly for the resale and the backup because they don't depreciate.
Calvin Fletcher will be at the
Calvin Fletcher's at staging you, Olly.
In Hall 7, stand 4.
Yeah, no, they're beautifully simple when they go wrong, and they're just built right.
For the first time.
Perfect, great question. Have we got any more? Can I go in this bit? Oh, you haven't. Oh, perfect. Do you want to just introduce yourself?
I like you were a bit white behind the bar there now.
I probably could manage that as well. Do you want to introduce yourself and let us know if you subscribe to Tom or Ollie or both? Because I'm here for this competition.
I'm Harry, I'm from Gloucester, I work on a dairy farm. I'm subscribed to both Ollie and Tom. Tom, do you have a favourite cow breed? Because I personally love Normandys. My favourite cow is Normandy, and they're really good on milk producers and all. And so, did you have a favourite breed?
Yeah, great question. So I love a pretty cow. So someone said to me, you shouldn't breed cows on the way they look, but I have to see them twice a day, every day. So it's nice to look at a pretty cow. I really like the brown Swiss. They're fantastic animals. They graze well. The big cows. They produce a lot of milk on it, and they're really friendly. So we love that on our farm. The only problem is, when the flies start biting, you know about it. You know, I think we used to be an 8-a-side swing over parlour, and I had 8 brown Swiss come in and 5 of them kick units off, and you know you're in for a long milking when that happens. So probably brown Swiss, but they all have their faults.
Good question. Do we have any more? Perfect.
My name's Michael and I'm from Ireland. What's your favourite brand of tractors?
Good question. Favourite brand of tractors, if anybody didn't hear that?
Solid. Oh, this is cool. Now, someone asked me this before. My favourite tractor is a Fendt 724 because it just can do everything. It's so compact but powerful, and it's got one less step than a 900 series Fendt to get in. So when you're in and out of it all day, it's just that bit easier. So I must be getting old. But then I do really want a quad track, and then I did really like the Xerion, but there was profit in it, so I sold it.
Tom?
Probably Olly's JCB when I borrowed it. It sounds daft, but like I'm never going to have a tractor like that on my farm. So when I had that tractor, it was just comfy. And like my back was great and it was fantastic. The wife could go next to me. It mowed front and side, did break his front mower. Again, I'm good at breaking his kit. But yeah, so probably a JCB. It was great, and I can't believe you sold it. I'm just disappointed.
Whilst we're on tractors, this has just come to my head. Let's talk about the tractor run, Olly, because that is a gathering of tractors, but that just doesn't do it justice. It's a charity tractor run. And how much did you raise?
This year we're not as much as last year. I think this year's about 54,000, 75 the year before, 65 the year before that. 40.
Yeah, it's unbelievable, isn't it? And
thank you.
I think farmers, you know, there's quite a bit of bad press around stuff, isn't there? But what sometimes goes maybe underreported is actually charity things like that. Young farmers are amazing at raising money for charity, and that just shows farmers coming together, doesn't it?
Yeah, so the nice thing about the tractor run is I'd seen it done in the Isle of Man, and I thought we could do it better in the UK, but I wanted it to have purpose. And everyone rings me up going, we want to do a tractor run, we want to raise money. I was like, it's not really about raising money, you need the purpose. So the purpose we have is we go to the Children's Hospital, we go to areas of the city that don't see tractors, we collect for the food bank because we're food producers at the end of the day. The fourth thing we do is raise the money. And I think there's a fine line between being a public nuisance of a lot of tractors on the road and being a spectacle. And I think that's quite important. So if someone thinks about organising a tractor run, try and have more than just the raising money purpose. But everyone was talking about that because it was fresh, but I think the biggest achievement last year was the combine.
Yeah,
that was
absolutely.
amazing.
What started that idea? I mean, if you watch Olly's channel, you'll have followed it, but what was the motivation?
To raise awareness for mental health. So I lost a friend through suicide nearly 8 years ago, and he had a massive passion for combines, as did I. And the guy that serves as my combine, James, he's not here, his bosses, I've seen him walking around. We decided that I was like, let's do something to raise the awareness, and that was when we come up with the idea of driving one from John O'Groats to Land's End. It's a nationwide problem, so we drove the length and breadth of the nation. And some of the people I've met today came out to wave us on, and it was fantastic. The weather was perfect. We saw Britain at the best time. We had an amazing view. Martin knocked the lamppost over. I think he's still over there in his plum jumper if you want a picture with him.
Yeah, you can't miss him.
But no, it was brilliant, and we're going to do something bigger and better next as well.
There we go. Any more questions? I don't know how much time we have left. Oh, we've got one over here. Would you mind standing over here, just because I think we might have some interference from the speaker?
Hello, I'm Ben. Bonnie's going to race the two tractors, the Solus and the scraper tractor.
When are you going to race the tractors?
That's the second person to ask that today. Yeah, no, you need to bring it down, or we'll bring one up and we'll have a pull off.
So if anyone doesn't know, obviously Olly's got his Solus. I have a Staroma. It's such a better name, and they're both the same kind of power. They're both the same kind of tractor, and it'd be great, that, wouldn't it? Yeah, mine's four-wheel drive though. Yours isn't, is it?
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
Right. Any more questions? Got one over here. Squeeze over. I didn't know I was doing this roving mic job, so.
My name's Ian. I come from Somerset, and mine's actually for Tom. Do you think it's really unfair how much profit that other companies make from your milk that you supply, and how little you get for it?
100%, and I think obviously we sell ours in a bottle, and then I think 20-30% probably goes to our processing costs, which that milk will go to the supermarkets, and I think it's unreal. So you'll look at like Co-op, which is close to me, and the amount of 2 litres in Co-op is like £1.70, And at the moment, a litre of milk we sell at like 36p. Some people, it varies. I think there's a lot of there's a lot of people making money out of farmers, and it just doesn't seem like we're the start of it. Surely we should be getting, not the most, but we should be getting enough to cover more than costs. To put a contract in that is just so you're covering costs is ridiculous. How are you meant to develop? How are you meant to push forward? If you stand still, you go backwards to a degree. Some years you've got to. Yes, I think it's honestly ridiculous. I can't say any other word for it, and I hate it. It annoys me. And what annoys me as well is I publish what I do.
He's going to start talking about banks again here.
Yeah, it's just. I post what I do, and I'm very fortunate to develop how we have developed. But if we didn't have it, we wouldn't be able to. It's because they're taking too much out of it or making it a loss leader. Like, look at the veg. Did you see the veg over Christmas? 15p for a pack of veg. And, the farmer can't even produce it. They don't have a choice. The problem is we don't all get together. But it's so hard to get together and go, right, okay, we're not going to do it. Because some people can't not sell their milk in that month, or their veg, or their lambs, because the minute they get that milk check in, it goes out and covers a load of bills. They haven't got the 2 weeks to hold it, and that's the problem. The minute we do hold it, I think that's when supermarkets will take us seriously. And Morrison's are quite good, to be fair to them. They have now a button. I saw it was in the House of Parliament. They have a button to buy British. So if you're shopping online at Morrison's, I know it's a supermarket, I do a farm shop, but it was just interesting. You click that button and you can only buy British food. And I think that's amazing. I think that should be on all supermarket websites, personally.
I would personally be happy to pay more for my milk and the farmer get more. But I think, personally myself, I think it is disgusting what farmers get for what they produce. And that's not just dairy, it's the same for you as well, Ollie.
It's ludicrous that a bottle of water costs more than milk, and that's got a shelf life of 12 months. And to be fair, you could probably still drink it after 3-4 years.
Well, it's not the shelf life of the water, isn't it? It's the shelf life of the plastic.
Yeah, and it doesn't need refrigerating. You don't need to breed something to make it. You just pump it out the ground.
I just don't know what the answer is. What do you reckon the answer is to that? What can we...
better?
There is... But how? How are you going to say to supermarkets, no, we're not doing it? Because they'll just say, we know what it costs, we know what we can do.
Well, AHDB should get their heads together and market milk better. It's the value. The value is perceived, isn't it? So if they can perceive milk to be worth more money, supermarkets would sell it for more, and hopefully that would filter down the chain.
Do you reckon the farmers are just bad at marketing?
Yes.
I asked you that question, I know what it is.
Well, they don't. They're not marketing, are they? They're selling everything wholesale.
But I think when it comes to farming, we don't have a marketing department. We don't have a HR department. Our time is consumed making sure the cows are milked, or making sure that field gets drilled, at the right time. So for us to try and put our expertise, bearing in mind we already need to know what drugs and drug rates we give our animals, we need to know what rate we're drilling, we need to know how to fix something, how to use the computers. To market our stuff as well actually is really difficult on an individual basis, and hats off to people like Tom who have got that diversification and the team behind them. But
Tom's already doing it. He's directly marketing his milk, and he's adding the value by putting it into milkshakes. AHDB take money off every single farmer for every single pint of milk, every single ton of grain, to develop the industry and market it better. And it's up to us to tell them to do that and to push them in the right direction.
I think you're right, because individually we're not going to manage it, and there is too much milk, food, whatever, to shift for us all to have a farm shop, as much as it would be an idyllic thought for us all to be buying in that way. But I think you're right, it's about farmers getting together, and these organisations do exist, but they can't work without us pushing them as levy payers or members.
Or legislation, but what government wants to come in and say, we're going to make it mandatory that everyone's got to pay more for the food, it is never going to happen.
No. Anyway, that's really quite heavy, so, very realistic in what we need to be talking about, but we've probably got time for a couple more questions. So, are there any more? Or maybe there aren't.
Can I ask the question?
Yes, of course, sorry, I don't want to come near the seat.
That's okay. Tom, the price of milk these days, how can you contemplate the price of water? Water costs more than milk does. So, where are we going from there? Can we make it more interesting to younger people to drink milk rather than water?
Agricultural trailers on the public highway. Is it time for trailer tests and licensing taking place in Hall 18?
So what can we do if anyone wants a trailer test? You know what to do. So what can we do to market milk instead of water? I think again, there was so much. Like we were chatting before. You make a bad video and there's 100 farmers and there might be one bad one, and unfortunately there is. You go into any industry, you go into schools, there'll be a bad teacher, but that makes the headlines, doesn't it? And again, 10, 15 years ago, maybe even a bit less than that, there'll be videos of a farmer doing things they should not be doing, and then the newer generation kind of went off milk and they were like, oh, we're not going to drink this anymore, we're going to drink almond milk, or we're going to drink oat milk, which is absolutely ridiculous, because the amount of stuff in it, if you actually look at the ingredients of it. And I think that's what happened. There was a bad marketing, no one was chatting about it, no one was going thing, and everyone thought this is what farmers do, and then they were red tractor assured, and they forgot about the red tractor. How to market it, just everyone keep doing what they're doing. And the other thing, what I think we do in our industry, and there's Farm 24, and I mentioned it on the day of Farm 24, we are really good at telling each other what we're doing. And like I think the Farm 24, not to pick them out of it, but I just mentioned it, why don't they tag? You have to at least tag one person that you know is not in the industry. Do you know what I mean? That's the way to do it, because then they go and have a look at it and they go, oh wow, that's amazing, these guys are doing great things. I think there is Zoe, the chief shepherdess. We chatted about this on your podcast, and I think she's fantastic. She has a massive following away from farmers, so when she posts stuff, she really has a great reach. So she speaks like Greg James on Radio 1, which is amazing, and I think that's a big thing we need to do. Start branching out of it. So I want to see the NFU. Are the NFU here?
Yeah, they're by the quad track.
How big's the stand?
It's pretty big, actually.
Yeah, so I don't like that. Sorry, NFU. God, I'll tell you what, someone's put 2p in me. I think they should be in the, they should be at the NEC, but at the Food Innovation Day or show, and the flower show, the NFU, they should be pushing it there. There's no point in having a big stand here. I'm so sorry. I'm
gonna rein you in because we've got time for one more question, and I want you to be able
Can I just say, did they still give you milk in primary schools? Because when I was a kid, we used to have milk in the morning, and it was always warm, and you're like, ugh.
So, what's your name and what's your question?
Frankie. This is for Tom. When are you going to do a series 3 of Fast and the Furious?
What a good question.
That is a great question. I did hear that they are in a little bit of talks about it. We'll just see what happens. If I'm honest with you, we don't know, but there are whispers.
Ooh, you might have to keep your eyes peeled. Well, what a good way to finish there, I guess, potentially with Tom's blossoming TV career. But I just want to say thank you so much to everybody who's joined. I know these guys are amazing, but I can't believe you guys have all stuck around. It's pretty impressive, and I think it is a credit to the time.
I said yesterday, do you think people are going to stand there for an hour and listen to us?